Something was wrong the moment the lights began to flicker right before her skin started to glow. I didn't know what triggered the hum rising from her chest, or why she suddenly grabbed my wrist with a strength that wasn't human. All I knew was that she was staring at me with eyes that weren't silver anymore, but burning gold. She whispered one sentence, soft, urgent, terrified, and it changed everything. "Jacen, don't move. It's found us?" Asterisk, if you had told me 3 months ago that an alien woman with glowing teal markings would become both my roommate and the single most confusing presence in my life, I would have laughed. Hard. The kind of laugh you do when someone suggests you could survive eating only vending machine sandwiches for a week. But here I was. Monday morning, sitting at my desk, pretending that everything in my life made sense. It most definitely did not. Her name was Varys. Daughter of the House of Stars. That Singh, apparently, that was a normal last name for her species. She claimed it was practical. I argued it was an entire poem. We disagreed a lot. She stood behind me now, casually luminous, shimmering like she had swallowed a piece of the night sky. Her skin held faint glowing swirls like bioluminescent tattoos that shifted when she was emotional. And since I could see their brightness reflected in my monitor, she was currently emotional. Not angry, not upset. Something else, which was the problem. See, Varys came from a species that didn't really do emotions the same way humans did. Or maybe they did, but they labeled them differently. She used words like pulse stirring, inner heat, and cycle brightening, none of which were found in my language apps. "Are you sure you are ready for your meeting, Jacen?" she asked from behind me. That voice, smooth, melodic, a little smug, always sounding like she knew something I didn't. The glowing freckles along her cheekbones shimmered. "I'm the one giving the meeting," I reminded her. "Being ready is kind of required." "Yes, but humans become distressed under pressure." She leaned down, placing her palms on the back of my chair. "I would not want you distressed." I stiffened because any time Varys got close, my brain short-circuited like faulty wiring. She radiated heat, not uncomfortably, but enough that it soaked through my shirt. Her scent was light and strange, something like citrus and warm metal. "Jacen," she continued, "I have read 3 different human advice forums this morning. They confirm proximity from a trusted companion reduces stress responses by 37%. You read advice forums?" "Yes," she said proudly. "And I have compiled a list of grounding techniques. You may touch my forearm, you may match my breathing, or no touching," I blurted. "I see." Her tone shifted, a little amused. "Humans remain very skittish about contact. You say that like I'm some kind of nervous pet." "You are much taller than a pet," she said thoughtfully. "Although your ears do a similar thing when embarrassed." "They do not." She tilted her head. "They are reddening now." I groaned and rubbed my face. "Can we please not do the observe the human like he's a wildlife documentary thing before my meeting?" Varys walked around my chair and stood in front of me, arms folded, teal markings swirling lazily. Her hair, actually more like fine iridescent strands, shifted colors as she moved, from deep indigo to soft silver. "You are tense," she said simply, and before I could react, she climbed onto my chair and promptly sat down in my lap. I choked on air. "Varys, this is the optimal grounding posture," she said matter-of-factly. "Human forum consensus. Weighted pressure eases stress. That's not. We don't do." My entire brain melted. She blinked at me calmly. "Is this not acceptable?" "No." Then, realizing how loud that was, I dropped my voice. "I mean, it's not a thing coworkers do. But we are not coworkers. You are my roommate. Also, my species does not observe this boundary. Physical contact is used for reassurance. Great. Fantastic. My species distinctly did observe that boundary, especially when the person in your lap was glowing like an exotic celestial goddess and radiating heat directly through your clothes. She shifted slightly, just a natural adjustment of posture. I'm sure, and every nerve in my body filed a complaint. Varys, I whispered hoarsely. Please. Please get up. I sense your heart is racing, she murmured, placing a hand lightly on my chest. That means the grounding is working. That means you're sitting in my lap. She tilted her head. Is that unfavorable to you? God, she was impossible. No, it's not. Yes, it's complicated. Her markings suddenly brightened, rapid pulses of teal, spreading from her cheeks down to her collarbones. The glow traveled under her clothes, tracing along her skin like veins lit by starlight. She froze. What was that? I asked slowly. She stared down at herself, eyes widening. Oh no. Oh no. I repeated. My body has entered a preliminary reflex. Reflex? A biological response triggered by close proximity with a compatible... Nope, I interrupted, panicking. Nope. Reflex cancelled. Abort mission. It cannot be cancelled. Her glow intensified. It requires... Stabilization? Stabilization? Yes. She put her hands on my shoulders, looking genuinely concerned. Jacen, I need to remain touching you until the reaction subsides. Touching? My voice cracked. Preferably in sustained contact, she said. Otherwise the reaction may escalate. ESCA Varys. Why didn't you tell me sitting on someone causes alien? Reflexes. Her cheeks glowed brighter. I did not know this would happen with a human. We stared at each other, breath held, panic rising. Then, my screen pinged out my meeting was starting. On video. Oh, you have GOT to be kidding me, I whispered. Varys blinked at the sound, looking at my monitor. Your colleagues are calling. They can't see you here. You want me to hide while my body is in a reactive state? Her voice was almost offended. That could cause a secondary pulse. I don't know what that means. It means, she said primly, I might glow brighter. The screen pinged again. I was about to enter a meeting, with an alien woman glowing in my lap, biologically reacting to me. And she absolutely wasn't moving. Varys leaned close, her forehead nearly touching mine. Jacen, she whispered, you must answer the call. I stared at the screen. I stared at her. My life choices marched across my mind like a parade of clowns. I hit accept. Asterisk, the call connected with a warm corporate chirp. Morning, everyone, I said, keeping my voice steady, even though the inside of me felt like scrambled circuitry. My webcam framed my face and the top of my shoulders, just enough to show normalcy. I prayed the camera angle hid the glowing teal swirls at Varys' collarbone. Jacen. Right on time, said Mara from logistics. Bright on the screen and armed with 2 coffees and the kind of smile that could debrief a starship. You okay? You look cozy. I choked. Cozy is the look, all good. Let's get started. Varys' breath feathered against my temple. She smelled like citrus and rain on hot metal, and the scent pooled inside my throat in a deliciously distracting way. Her glow was steadying into a slower, patient pulse, but the faint hum and internal vibration that felt like the world's smallest motor continued beneath my palm, where her hip rested. I kept my hands anchored. To the mouse like it was a life raft. Agendas. The same, I read, voice clipped. Quarterly projections, supplier adjustments, and a new outreach pilot. Mara nodded. Perfect. Also, who's that with you? I felt every head on the call swivel, an invisible camera scan that made my stomach flip. Just my roommate. She, dropped by before I left. A dozen tiny squares of colleagues' peers filled the screen. Someone's cat flicked an ear. Someone else adjusted a headset with a flourish. I could see Pete from analytics trying not to laugh. I could feel the heat of my own embarrassment. I could also feel Varys's body against my thigh, perfectly still, like a living, glowing paperweight. You have a roommate? Jacen, when do you breathe? Mara teased. Also, she's very luminescent. Varys's glow flickered uncertain, amused, maybe a little proud. She leaned forward so only my microphone could pick up her voice. I am Varys of the House of Stars that sing. Hello. Across the grid, someone actually burst out laughing. Pete mouthed, wow. I could have explained the situation. I could have said, she's an alien roommate who accidentally triggered a reflex when she sat in my lap. Instead I said, she's international. The team moved through the agenda while I navigated 1,000 small crises, hiding the blush that probably crept up across my face. Negotiating the fact that Varys's shoulder rested against mine, and her warmth made my tie peel off my neck like a second skin. Monitoring the glow beneath her blouse that now made my collarbone feel under dress dot around the discussion of supplier margins. Varys shifted. Not much a micro-adjustment, but enough that the hum beneath my fingers went from low purr to a brighter trill. The teal swirls at the base of her neck flared like a lighthouse. My palms dampened. Jacen? Mara's eyebrow climbed, curiosity sharp. Everything okay? I whispered, attempting to thread crisis management with office protocol. Yeah, just personal furnace. Personal furnace? Mara repeated and laughed. Cute. Also, don't overheat in there. We need you alive for the next slide. I wanted to tell Mara the truth. That the furnace had a heartbeat that felt like a small, content drumline pressed to my thigh. That when Varys inhaled, the air around her shimmered and slightly scented my mouth with metallic citrus. That her pupils, an impossible crescent of silver, had dilated in a way that made my breath itch. Instead, I said, right, next slide. We survived the meeting somehow. People signed off, cheerful and oblivious. I almost sagged with relief, but the second the last window closed, Varys let out a small, accidental sound that I later decided was the most intimate thing she'd ever made. Oh, she said. That was informative. You could say that, I breathed and turned to face her properly. The moment I did, the teal tattoos along her arms brightened in neat waves. She looked small and enormous both at once, perched like some proud, luminous bird who'd mistaken my lap for a nest. You're burning brighter, I whispered. Her lips twitched. It is a reflex. I apologize. I did not intend this. You didn't intend to sit in my lap either, I pointed out. She smiled, sheepish in a way that transformed her. It seemed like a reasonable experiment. You were stressed. I acted. You acted by detonating my entire nervous system, I said, trying for humor and landing somewhere between amused and breathless. Varys's hand slid up the side of my face, warm and feather-light. Her thumb ghosted behind my ear, and the glow that radiated across her palm made my ear sizzle. You are interesting, Jacen, she said softly. Your responses are captivating. Captivating, I echoed. The word curdling into something too intimate to be office-appropriate. She leaned in, closer than necessary, close enough that the scent of her sharp, sweet metallic filled my nose. Her lips hovered an inch from mine, then retreated as if reconsidering. Stabilization is incomplete, she said. There is residual charge. Residual charge? Yes, she exhaled, and I heard that gentle internal hum again, like a tuning fork. I should remain in contact for another 15 minutes. 15 minutes? I repeated, preferably closer than this. Her words collapsed the remaining professional decorum into dust. 15 minutes of this Varys in my lap, warm and humming, her glow slowly tending toward a sultry, smoldering cadence felt like an eternity compressed into one too sweet second. Okay, I said, surprising both of us by answering. Okay, we were interrupted by a knock so loud and deliberate that it could have been choreographed. The kind of knock that punctuates dramatic entrances in bad sitcoms. Varys's jaw tightened. Her glow flared with a rapid staccato I hadn't seen before. That will be Mara, I said, horrified. She's probably downstairs. No, the pattern, Varys murmured. It is different. It is visitor pattern. My door opened before I could stand. In breezed Mara, carrying a courier pouch and the exact same expression she'd had on the meeting. Friendly. Untroubled, blissfully unaware of the thermodynamic drama currently unfolding on my lap. Hey, she chirped. Her eyes flicked to my chair. Then she stopped. Then she stared. Then she blinked. Jacen? Her voice took on that tone people use when they detect something weird, but aren't sure if they should call the police or a therapist. Varys's glow. In response, flared violet along the edges, a color I'd never seen on her before. Rich and merciless. My stomach did a small, traitorous flip. Mara's mouth opened. Are you? Okay, that is wow. Who's your friend? My roommate's posture went protective in a way I didn't expect. Her arm slid around my shoulders just enough to make Mara's eyes narrow. The teal patterns along her forearm bristled like a warning light. Varys, I said too quickly. Mara, this is Varys. Varys, this is Mara from logistics. Mara waved a hand. Supplies or something. I brought you an extra charger. She glanced between us and then, baffled, said, You look cozy. Varys's grip on my shoulder tightened. Her voice, when she spoke, was low. She may step no closer. Mara blanched. Whoa, okay. Personal space. She backed up a step like she'd just been informed the couch she intended to sit on belonged to someone else's moon colony. Had never seen Varys act possessive. It was like watching a constellation get jealous beautiful and mildly terrifying. Her glow synchronized into a steady band across her chest, a deliberate territorial display. Mara, recovering, laughed awkwardly. Right, I'll just leave that charger on the table. She placed the pouch down on an empty side table and made for the door with the speed and grace of someone escaping an awkward planetary diplomacy summit. Once she left, the apartment settled. We were alone again, but the air between Varys and me had shifted into something hotter and more private. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment I forgot my name, my job, even which planet I'd been born on. She leaned in, closer than she had before, and whispered, You will stay. I will not let another approach without warning. I started. She kissed me then, quick and precise, more like an oath than a seduction. It was gentle, warm, and undeniably binding. Her lips tasted faintly metallic, like the first breath you take walking into a rainstorm. When she pulled back, her glow softened. The hum in her chest smoothed into a soothing lullaby. Stabilized? I asked, unsure whether I was referring to her biological state or my own. For the moment, she said. But there are further phases. Further phases? My voice wobbled between delight and alarm. She smiled, mischief and moonlight mixing. Yes, there is always another phase. Her thumb brushed against my lip, and the impulse to say, I don't think I mind, rose like warm tide. Before I could decide whether to confess, she added, soft and promising, Stay with me. There was the cliff of decision, the edge where common sense and the deliciously absurd met. I wanted to step back into my old life, where meetings were boring and boundaries were neat. But my fingers tightened on the armrest, and my body answered for me, even before my brain did. "Okay," I said, voice thinner than I hoped. "Okay, I'll stay." She leaned in again, closer this time. The glow at her throat dimming to a contented pulse dot, and somewhere beyond the thin walls of my apartment, the world carried on oblivious ordinary dot. We braced ourselves for phase 2 dot, asterisk the moment the word stay left my lips. Varys's entire body shifted, not physically, but in that shimmering aurora way of hers. The light along her shoulders rippled like soft heat lightning under her skin. The teal swirls pulled inward, converging near her heart in a slow, breathtaking pulse. She looked relieved, actually relieved. "I am glad," she murmured, fingertips grazing my jaw as though confirming I was real. It would have been uncomfortable to proceed alone. "I'm still not sure what we're proceeding into," I admitted. My voice, for all its attempts at composure, tilted upward like it wasn't wearing the right shoes for this emotional terrain. She gave a small, almost secret smile. "Nor am I." That didn't help. Her glow eased into a calm rhythm, steady and intentional, like her body was trying to match mine. Or maybe like it expected mine to match it. The hum in her chest softened into a softer, velvety thrum that radiated through her like a purr. And then, very gently, she shifted her weight off my lap. I almost exhaled in relief. But then she sat down beside me on the couch, closer than beside, implied thigh against thigh, shoulder brushing mine, palm still flat against my sternum, as if monitoring some vital sign only she could perceive. "This will work," she said softly. "What will work?" "The stabilization?" "Yes. But now that we have completed the initial contact, we must allow the energy to settle." She said this very seriously, like she was explaining a medical procedure. But her cheeks glowed a shade deeper, warmer. A blush? For a creature who didn't blush like humans, she had an uncanny way of showing it. "What do you need me to do?" I asked, trying to sound helpful, and not like a man steadily losing his ability to think in complete sentences. Her fingers tapped lightly over my chest, following the beat of my heart. "Your rhythm is calming. My system is reacting to it." "Well, that's flattering," I said, voice wobbling. "It is." "Bonding," she said in that blunt, literal way of hers. "A primitive instinct. Similar to when hatchlings find warmth in their first cycle." "I'm sorry. Am I being compared to a space egg?" She blinked at me, confused. "You are warm and calm. That is good. You are ideal for phase 2. She said it so casually, like it was the most obvious fact in the galaxy. My heart tried to exit through my ribs. "Okay," I said slowly. "So what exactly is phase 2? Her fingers laced through mine carefully, delicately, like she'd memorized the shape of each finger. "Phase 2 is continued closeness and breath alignment." "Is that like the breathing exercises humans do?" "Yes," she nodded. "Except with results. Don't know what to do with that information." Her eyes softened in a way I'd never seen before. "You will not be harmed. The opposite. My species reacts to resonance with pleasure." I swallowed so hard I worried she'd feel it through her palm. "Again," she added quickly. "Non-dangerous pleasure. Thank you for clarifying the danger level." She leaned in a little closer, forehead brushing mine, and whispered, "Jacen, you tremble." "No," I said automatically, even though yes, I absolutely was. Her hand pressed against my sternum again. "You are afraid?" "No," I said again, softer this time. "Not afraid, just overwhelmed by me?" She asked, almost shy, completely. Something in her expression melted. The glow along her arms smoothed down into softer ribbons, a color deep and warm. She tilted her head slightly, adjusting her forehead against mine until we lined up like puzzle pieces. And then she guided my hand to her chest. Instinctively, I jerked back. She gently returned it. "It is safe," she murmured. "I wish to show you." Her heartbeat wasn't like ours. It wasn't even a single beat. It was a layered, thrum-soft, musical, almost like two tones overlapping. A chord instead of a beat. It moved beneath my palm like a small storm, warm and rhythmic. "My species calls this the dual pulse," she said. "When we form proximity resonance with someone, the inner pulse shifts to match theirs." I blinked. "Wait, so the second heart is syncing with mine?" "Yes. That's not terrifying at all. It is normal for us," she said, "but only in rare conditions. The dual pulse does not respond often." She glanced down at our joined hands. "Except now. I'm honored," I said, unsure if that was the right word. "It is mutual," she murmured, leaning forward until her forehead pressed more fully against mine. "You are steady, warm, a calming constant. Your presence is compatible in a way I did not anticipate." "You're compatible too," I said lightly, but it came out softer than intended. She blinked once, silver eyes widening with genuine surprise. "You feel resonance?" "Resonance might be a strong word," I admitted. "But I feel something." Her markings flared bright, vivid, and shockingly beautiful. "Then it is happening," she whispered. "We are aligning. I still want a glossary for all of this." She laughed, a small, musical sound that skated down my spine like warm static. "I can write one for you." Her forehead still pressed to mine. She instructed, "Breathe with me." So I did. Slow, deep, soft exhale. Her chest rose and fell against my palm. The hum in her throat deepened, spreading through her skin in gentle waves. Her hand slid to the back of my neck, grounding me, guiding me. The room dimmed around us, not literally, just in the way attention collapses into one single point. Everything felt closer, warmer, sharper, like leaning into a gravitational pull. Then a gentle knock. Both of us froze. Varys's glow flickered sharply, colors stuttering. "Another visitor," she hissed. "Let me just check who." The door creaked open. My heart sank. "Hey, neighbor." I brought back your toolbox. It was Lena, my neighbor. Friendly, chatty, effortlessly gorgeous in a very human way. And walking straight into the room. She stopped mid-step when she saw us on the couch. Varys practically wrapped around me, forehead pressed to mine, our joined hands resting over her glowing chest. "Oh," Lena said, blinking. "Okay, wow, sorry. I'll just, Varys went still. Too still." Her glow darkened at the edges, deep violet again, the jealous color. She drew herself closer to me, posture suddenly defensive. Her hand tightened behind my neck. "Identify yourself," she commanded. Lena froze. "Alina? I live in 4B? You borrowed my screwdriver?" Varys narrowed her silver eyes. "Your presence interrupts resonance." I groaned. "Varys, you cannot approach during alignment," she said, voice low and crystalline. "He is connected with me." Lena raised both hands. "Hey, I didn't mean to interrupt anything. I'll go. I'll go now. Toolbox is on your counter." She backed up so quickly, she nearly tripped over the threshold. "Wow, okay, bye." The door shut. Silence. Then, very slowly, Varys turned back toward me. "She intended to claim your attention," she said flatly. "No, she really didn't." I detected interest. She was returning tools. Varys frowned. "She kept looking at your mouth." She was panicking. Varys's violet fade diminished, replaced by soft, embarrassed teal. I misread, she said stiffly. My instincts are heightened. It's okay, I said quietly. She looked at me then, really looked, eyes large, reflective, vulnerable. Do you wish her to return? No, I said, without hesitation. Her breath caught just slightly. The hum in her chest shifted warmer. Then, she whispered, Phase 2 continues. Her forehead returned to mine. My hand stayed over her heart, and the glow resumed its slow, perfect rhythm. Right as another pulse began warming beneath my palm, promising that Phase 3 wouldn't be any easier. Asterisk Phase 2, as it turned out, was less mystical alien ritual and more a prolonged, intimate staring contest where both participants forgot how breathing worked. Varys's forehead rested against mine, our noses nearly brushing. Her glow teal with tiny threads of gold now had softened to something low and warm, like embers in a dimly lit fireplace. The hum in her chest settled into a rhythm that felt dangerously soothing. My fingers still rested over her dual pulse. Her fingers still cupped the back of my neck. Every part of it felt intentional. Every part of it felt like standing on the edge of a precipice, waiting for the next step. Jacen, she whispered. May I ask something? Anything, I managed, though my voice was thick enough to be considered a choking hazard. When the human woman interrupted, Varys murmured, Your chest tightened. Was it distress? Or something else? I inhaled slowly, trying to sort through the mess of emotions swirling around. It was embarrassment, I said. Then, more quietly, and maybe a little jealousy. About how you reacted. Jealousy, she repeated like a scientist noting down a curious specimen. That is the feeling that your species associates with exclusivity of attention? Something like that. Her glow brightened. Then my detection was correct. You did value my proximity. Varys, I began, but stopped when she leaned in the tiniest bit closer. My breath ghosted over her lips. Her hum deepened. I require confirmation, she whispered. A verbal one. It will stabilize my interpretation. Confirmation of what? That you wished for me to remain close. My heart slammed against my ribs. She felt it. Her glow responded like a sympathetic heartbeat. I do, I said. I wanted you to stay. Her expression softened beautifully, achingly. She closed her eyes briefly, forehead still pressed to mine, as if absorbing that answer, like warmth through her skin. I am relieved, she whispered. I feared the reflex frightened you. It didn't. Confused me, yes, but not frightened. And you do not feel trapped? Overwhelmed? Overwhelmed? I repeated. Absolutely, but not in a bad way. Her markings pulsed gently. Then the bond is stabilizing on both sides. I opened my mouth to ask what bond officially meant in our species, what cultural panic I should be preparing for, but she placed a finger lightly over my lips. Later, she said softly. Phase 2 still requires uninterrupted calm. Calm, right, totally. Calm while touching a glowing alien woman who was staring at me like I was a sunrise she couldn't believe existed. This was fine. Then softly, she moved her hand from my chest to my cheek. Her thumb brushed under my eye, tracing a slow arc. My entire body went still. Even time felt like it paused to watch. You are very expressive, she murmured. Humans reveal emotion in the smallest places. Eyelids, lips, the space between breaths. And your species doesn't? We glow, she said simply. We but we do not change shape so easily. You are. She paused to consider the right word. Dynamic. I huffed a small laugh. I feel like a malfunctioning circuit right now. Her lips curved. You feel vivid. A pulse warm, startling flared beneath her skin. The swirling markings converged into a single glowing line that ran across her collarbone. I swallowed hard. "That's new," I said weakly. "Is that normal?" "Yes," she said. "It is a sign of deepening resonance. It appears when we are." She hesitated. "When you're what?" I pressed gently. "When we are responding strongly to someone's presence." "Oh," I breathed. "Oh," she echoed softly. Eyes shimmering silver. Silence fell again thick. Charged, deliciously heavy. Her hand never left my cheek. My hand never left her heart. Then, with a kind of delicate bravery, she said, "Would you like to tell me about jealousy?" "Jealousy?" I repeated. "What about it?" "You said you felt it." "That is rare." She tilted her head in curiosity. Humans feel possession of a companion because they fear losing them. But I am here. Very clearly. You are, I agreed. So why jealousy? She asked gently. Explain. I want to understand. I inhaled slowly, picking my words carefully. When Lena came in, I thought she might misinterpret things or interrupt something important. I felt heat crawl up my neck, something I didn't want interrupted. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. You did not want separation? No. And you feared she might draw me away? Not exactly. I hesitated. I was afraid she might draw you away from me, or that you'd get embarrassed and pull back. Her glow warmed, literally warmed. The heat radiating from her skin increased, soft and enveloping. Her hum deepened to a low, resonant note that vibrated through my hand. I would not have pulled back, she whispered. Not from you. My heart jumped. Her glow jumped with it. You mean that? I asked quietly. Yes, she said, and the truth in her voice was undeniable. I am. Drawn to you strongly. The room felt suddenly too small for all the air in it. Jacen, she said in a whisper that felt like a secret. You may ask something now. Anything? Yes. What happens after phase 2? Her breath caught. Her glow surged bright, beautiful, overwhelming. Phase 3, she said, her voice trembling with a strange mixture of anticipation and restraint, requires a release of the built energy. A reset, a formal completion of resonance. My mouth went dry. What kind of completion? She lifted her forehead from mine, just enough for me to see her expression raw, vulnerable, honest. A kiss, she said. A true one. Not like earlier. I blinked. The earlier one wasn't? That was a marker, she said. A promise. Not the completion. So the next one is... She nodded. Necessary. The hum in her chest quickened. Her glow raced from her neck to her fingertips. Her breathing grew shallow. But, she added suddenly, pulling an inch back, her expression flickering with uncertainty, I must ask your consent. It is a binding gesture in my culture. It means something. Means what? I asked, voice low. That for one cycle, she whispered, you would be mine, and I would be yours. My breath stalled. A cycle? I asked. How long is that? 30 human days, she said. A temporary bond, but very real. 30 days. 30 days with her. 30 days of glow, hum, closeness, and whatever else came with an alien bond. My heartbeat thundered. Her glow answered like a mirror. Jacen, she whispered. Do you wish this? I opened my mouth, felt the words rising, felt the decision trembling at the back of my throat, when suddenly, ARSHH. My front panel buzzer exploded with static, followed by a voice. Package delivery for Jacen Rivers. Please confirm code. I flinched so hard, I nearly fell off the couch. Varys's glow flared with irritation. Her head snapped toward the door. "Who dares," she hissed, "interrupt phase transition?" I buried my face in my hands. "Varys," I groaned. "Please don't threaten the postal system." She rose to her feet, glow blazing like a miniature supernova. "This cycle is sacred," she muttered with dramatic fury. "Humans have nitrogen monoxide respect for timing." And yet, when she turned back to me, her eyes warm and full of expectation, the question still hung between us. "Do you choose the bond?" Her breath hovered at my lips. Her glow pulsed. Her meaning was crystal clear. And the only thing standing between us was a very confused delivery driver in the hallway. Asterisk, the buzzer crackled again. "You? Hello? Jacen Rivers? Your package says urgent and perishable, so if you could just— 30 seconds, I shouted toward the door, instantly regretting how desperate that sounded. Varys, glowing like she was about to declare war on the postal system, crossed her arms and stared at me with betrayed intensity. "This interruption," she said darkly, "is unacceptable. Phase transitions should not be halted. It is destabilizing." "I know," I said, squeezing my temples. "Trust me, I know." She walked back toward me with that predatory grace she had, shoulders steady, markings pulsing like ripples in deep water. She sat beside me again, close enough that her warmth wrapped around my ribs like a blanket with opinions. Her voice dropped into a low, controlled whisper. "Jacen, you were about to answer." My heart tripped. Yeah, I was." She leaned in until her face hovered inches from mine. "Then answer now." "Another BZZT." Louder, almost impatient, Varys growled. I'd never heard her growl. It was soft, musical, and absolutely terrifying. Okay, I said, raising both hands. "Just give me 20 seconds. I'll handle the package and come right back. No more interruptions." Her eyes narrowed to silver slits. "Return swiftly." "I will," I promised, grabbing my keys and stumbling toward the door. Before I reached it, I felt a warm hand on my wrist. I turned. She was standing now, face close. Glow dimmer but more focused, like a candle flame pulled inward. Her voice was soft, almost fragile. "Do not keep me waiting long?" I swallowed hard. "Never." The moment I opened the door, a delivery driver nearly crashed into me. She was short, green-haired, wearing a neon vest half-zipped over a graphic tee of some obscure band. She blinked up at me like she'd discovered a new species. "Dude," she said, squinting. "Are you okay? You look like you just ran a marathon, but only with your emotions." I forced a smile. "I'm fine. Sorry for the delay." She handed over a medium-sized package. "Sign here." Also, your window was glowing. "Light purple? Is that a setting? Or mood lighting?" Behind me, from the apartment, a faint hum echoed. Varys's hum. The driver's eyebrows shot up. Oh, got it. None of my business." "Yep," I said quickly. "None at all." "Thank you." She grinned. "Good luck with whatever's going on. Sounds intense, you have no idea." She jogged back down the hallway. I shut the door, locked it, turned around and froze. Varys stood directly in front of me. Closer than she had been before, glow soft but dense like a storm cloud lit from within. "You returned," she said. Quiet but pleased. "You said not to keep you waiting." She smiled, slow and warm. "And you listened." She stepped forward, closing the already minimal distance between us. Her hand lifted to my chest again, pressing lightly, feeling my heartbeat. Her glow sensed with it flaring, fading, flaring again. "Your pulse," she whispered. "It rises when you look at me. I wonder why." Her eyes flicked up. "I do not. I know why. I swallowed. You do? Yes. She leaned in cheek, brushing mine, breath warm enough to make my knees consider giving up entirely. You want the bond. It wasn't a question. It wasn't even an assumption. It was certainty, and the way she said it soft, reverent, nearly unmade me. But before I could respond, she took my hand and guided me back to the couch. Not forcefully, not urgently, purposefully. Sit, she murmured. I did. She slid beside me, closer than before, her thigh aligned to mine, her arm hooking around the back of my shoulders in a protective arc. Phase 3, she said, cannot begin until both parties have clarity of intention. Clarity, I repeated. Right, look at me. I did. She held my face gently, insistently, turning it toward her until our noses almost touched. Her glow shifted, blooming gold along the edges of her markings, a color I'd never seen before. Gold. Warm. Luminous. What does gold mean? I whispered. She smiled, slow, shy, devastating. It means hope. My breath stuttered. You hope, I said. Yes, she whispered. And the honesty in her voice made something in my chest melt like soft metal. I hope you choose the bond. Our faces were so close now that I could feel her breath against my lips. The hum in her chest thrummed softly against my hand. Everything felt suspended, balanced on a thread. Jacen, she said, voice trembling just slightly. Tell me what you choose. I almost answered right then. The words stood poised in my throat, but something flickered in her expression. A shadow. A doubt. Without thinking, I lifted my hands to her face, mirroring the way she held mine. Her skin was warm beneath my palms, alive with faint glimmering pulses. Varys, I said softly. I want the bond. Her breath halted. Her glow exploded bright. Gold-edged teal radiating outward in waves, like someone had cracked open the night sky. Her eyes widened, silver spiraling with electric emotion. You choose me? She whispered. I do. Her lips parted. Her hum rose. Her hands slid from my cheeks to the back of my neck, pulling me toward her. Then beep. The apartment lights flickered. The thermostat dinged. The refrigerator made a sound like a dying robot. And then everything in the apartment went pitch black. Complete. Sudden, absolute darkness. For 2 seconds, neither of us moved. Then, Jacen, she whispered. Yes? Is this a human ritual? She sounded genuinely concerned. No, I said, trying not to laugh hysterically. We just lost power. In the middle of phase transition? Yes, she exhaled sharply. Your planet is a menace. Even in total darkness, I felt her forehead press lightly against mine. Her hands slid down my shoulders, finding me instinctively. Her glow, now very faint, began to pulse again, casting soft teal light between us. This changes nothing, she murmured. The bond still waits. The dim glow illuminated her silhouette, her eyes bright, her markings shimmering like distant constellations. She was impossibly beautiful in the darkness. Jacen, she whispered, leaning close again. I believe we should begin the kiss before the next human catastrophe interrupts. I laughed softly. But what if the power comes back mid? It will not matter. Her fingers curled into my shirt. Nothing will interrupt this moment. But the universe, being the universe, liked testing bold declarations. Because just as her lips brushed mine, the front door handle clicked. Someone else was entering. Someone with a key. And both of us froze. Asterisk. The click of the lock was impossibly loud in the dark. Not a knock. Not a visitor. A key turning. Varys went rigid beside me, her glow snapping to a sharp, warning violet. Her grip tightened on my shirt, pulling me slightly behind her in a protective reflex, so fast it was almost instinct. Jacen, she whispered, voice low and tense. Someone unauthorized is entering. It's probably not an intruder, I whispered back. Maybe my landlord? Utilities? Maintenance. The door creaked open. A beam of weak hallway light spilled into the apartment, framing the silhouette of, oh my God, Jacen? I closed my eyes. Of all the people on earth. My sister. Lyra? I yelped. Beside me, Varys hissed like someone had just threatened her oxygen supply. Lyra stepped inside, squinting into the darkness. Why is your power out? And why does your apartment smell like citrus and sparks? I groaned. Can you not just call before showing up? I did call. 3 times. You didn't answer. I had been a bit busy, considering I was on the cusp of alien bonding. Varys rose from the couch like a wrathful constellation. Her glow deepened, swirling with stormy purple streaks. And she positioned herself squarely between me and my sister. Identify yourself, she commanded. Voice colder than I'd ever heard, Lyra stumbled backward. Jacen? Why is your very shiny friend threatening me? She's not, I said weakly, standing up. She's just confused. I am not confused, Varys snapped. Your sibling enters without warning, disrupts sacred space. It's not sacred space, I hissed. It is now, she countered. Lyra's eyes darted between us. What exactly is happening here? Are you in trouble? Are you being held hostage by a Gloustic woman? Gloustic? Varys's markings flared dangerously. I am not a Gloustic. I am Varys, daughter of the house of... Yes, I know. The poetic entire constellation name. I muttered. Lyra, she's my roommate. My sister blinked, then blinked again. You've been living with a glowing alien woman and didn't tell me? I was going to. Eventually. On purpose. She snorted. Wow, that tracks. Varys stepped closer, protectively. You should leave. No, she shouldn't, I said quickly. She's not a threat. Lyra held up her hands. I'm seriously just here, because Mom sent me to check on you. She thought you were having some kind of crisis. She is, Varys said matter-of-factly. He is in the middle of a phase transition. Lyra stared at her, then at me, then at her again. Phase what? Oh boy, I muttered under my breath. Varys did not hesitate to elaborate. She raised her chin with regal certainty. A bond ritual. Lyra's eyebrows shot upward with such force, I feared they'd leave orbit. A what ritual? It is not permanent, Varys clarified. Only 30 days. But it requires physical closeness and emotional synchrony. Lyra's mouth fell open. You're dating an alien? It's not dating, I said quickly. It is, Varys corrected. Jacen has chosen the bond. I said I was thinking about choosing. You said I want the bond, she reminded. Lyra slapped a hand to her forehead. Oh my God. You're alien engaged. I pinched the bridge of my nose. No one is engaged. He accepted the bond. Varys insisted. You interrupted. I argued. Your intention was clear. My intention was half-formed and about to be interrupted by a package delivery. Lyra doubled over laughing. This is the best day of my life. Varys's glow sharpened, narrowing to a territorial violet. Stop laughing, she warned. You are distressing him. Lyra snorted again. Distressing him? I've been distressing him since birth, sweetheart. It's kind of my job. Do not call me sweetheart, Varys hissed, stepping forward. Varys, I said sharply, grabbing her wrist. She's family. She paused, looking back at me. Her markings shifted, violet fading slowly to blue, a calmer color. You are certain she is not competing for your bond? Lyra choked. Competing? She is not, I said quickly. Bonding is not a sibling thing. Varys relaxed slightly, but only slightly. Lyra folded her arms. Why is your alien girlfriend still glowing like she wants to vaporize me? She's not I am his bond choice, Varys interrupted proudly. And he is mine. Lyra shot me a look of pure, unfiltered sibling glee. Oh, you're done. You're absolutely toasted. I groaned. Can we please not do this right now? Right now is the moment, Lyra declared. Your apartment has no power, your eyes are dilated, and you're standing extremely close to a glowing woman who looks like she wants to drag you into a space volcano. Varys tilted her head. Why would I drag him into a volcano? That is counterproductive. It's a metaphor, I muttered. Oh. She paused. Then yes. Lyra barked a laugh. I like her. Please don't encourage her, I begged. Varys's glow brightened again. This time not angry, but proud. See, Jacen? Your sibling approves. She doesn't approve, I corrected. She's entertained. Same difference. I glared at Lyra. Can you please leave so we can deal with the bond situation? Lyra blinked innocently. Oh, I dunno. Should I? Are we sure you two won't burn the building down with your glowing energies? Goodbye, Lyra, I said firmly, guiding her toward the door. She grinned the smug grin of someone who would absolutely tell our mother everything. Fine, fine. Call me tomorrow. And please tell me what the actual heck a phase transition is. Never. I said. Absolutely, Varys said at the same time. We stared at each other. Lyra cackled and slipped out the door. A moment it shut. Varys let out a slow exhale and pressed her forehead to my shoulder. I do not like interruptions, she murmured. They disrupt the flow. I wrapped an arm gently around her waist. She didn't mean harm. I know, she said quietly. Still, her fingers curled in my shirt, possessive without being forceful. You chose me. I said I wanted the bond, I clarified softly. I was trying to... She lifted her head, her silver eyes luminous, even in the dim room. Jacen, she whispered. Did her arrival change your decision? I shook my head. No. Her glow softened warm teal, calming and tender. Then, she murmured, taking my hand and placing it over her heart again. Phase 3 still awaits. The hum rose. Her forehead brushed mine. Unless, she added darkly, your building intends to drop another visitor on us. I sighed. The universe owes us one uninterrupted moment. She smiled. Then claim it. My breath hitched. She leaned in closer. Jacen, she whispered, do you still choose the bond? I do, I said, the words steady this time. Sure. Solid dot her glow flared golden. Then, she breathed. Come to me. And just as her lips touched mine, the lights snapped back on. We both froze in the sudden brightness. Varys stared at the ceiling with murder in her eyes. Your planet, she whispered venomously. We'll pay for this. When the lights came back on, it was like the universe flipped a cosmic switch, purely out of spite. 1 second. Warm darkness. Her lips grazing mine. Next second. Blinding fluorescent ceiling glare. Illuminating every moment we were absolutely not ready to have under full interrogation lighting. Varys lifted her face slowly. Her glow sputtered between teal and irritated violet, like a malfunctioning nebula. She stared up at the light fixture with the weary rage of someone reconsidering interplanetary diplomacy. This planet, she whispered, is directly opposed to our happiness. I laughed under my breath. You might be right. She didn't laugh. Instead, she turned her gaze back to me, silver eyes, narrowing in a way that made my pulse stutter. The gold tint in her markings returned, slowly overtaking the violet. Jacen, she said, voice low, steadying. Do not let go. She reached for my hand again, threading her fingers through mine with surprising urgency. The heat of her skin, the glow of her markings, the soft hum under her ribs, they all surged with renewed focus, as if anchoring her back into the moment. "The interruption does not end the phase," she murmured. "It only delays it." "I wasn't planning on ending anything," I said softly. Her breath hitched barely. "But enough." She searched my face for a long second, expression softening. The gold glow along her collarbone spread slowly up her neck, casting her features in warm light. "You truly choose this," she said, almost to herself. "You choose me." I squeezed her hand gently. "Yeah, I do." Her lips parted, emotion flickering across her expression in a way she normally kept tightly controlled. Wonder, relief, a touch of fear. Then she leaned in. But instead of kissing me immediately, she rested her forehead against mine again, our familiar position, breathing me in like she needed the contact to stay grounded. "This is significant," she admitted. "For me." "For me too," I said quietly. Her glow pulsed once deep, resonant, like a heartbeat made of light. And then thunk. Something slammed in the apartment hallway. Varys's entire body tensed. "What now?" I sighed. "Probably someone dropping a package. Your planet's obsession with packages is statistically unreasonable. Tell that to our shipping companies." She exhaled sharply, but didn't move away from me. If anything, she shifted even closer, her thigh pressing against mine, her hand sliding to my jaw. "We continue," she said firmly. "I will not be denied again." I swallowed hard. "Yes, ma'am." Her eyes warmed. "Good." She raised my chin slightly, guiding my face toward her, slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial. Her glow brightened again, warming the space around us, like we were sitting near the heart of a star. "Jacen," she whispered, "our bond begins with intention." Her lips brushed mine, a feather-light contact, more electricity than pressure, and every coherent thought I had melted into cosmic soup. "And completes," she breathed, "with connection." She kissed me, a real kiss. Soft, warm, full of trembling emotion. Not urgency. Her dual pulse thrummed against my palm. Her glow brightened in a golden wave. Her fingers slid into my hair, holding me like she'd been waiting for this moment across galaxies. The kiss deepened, not in intensity, but in meaning. It felt like stepping into something sacred, something both terrifying and beautiful. When she finally pulled back, our breaths mingled in the small space between us, her glow dimmed to a soft, contented shimmer. "It is done," she whispered. "Done?" I asked softly. She nodded. "Phase 3 is complete? And now?" Her lips curved into a slow, luminous smile. "Now begins the first day of our cycle." My heart thudded. "One day down," she whispered, tracing my lower lip with her glowing fingertip. 29 to go. If I thought the kiss was the peak of my ability to remain composed, I learned immediately that I was wrong. Because after phase 3 completed, Varys didn't pull away. She didn't detach. She didn't even pretend to reclaim personal space. Instead, she curled into me, head resting lightly on my shoulder, glow warm and steady. Fingers woven into the fabric of my shirt, like she feared gravity might separate us. "Jacen," she murmured, voice soft as starlight, "my chest does not hurt anymore." I blinked. "It was hurting?" "Not pain," she corrected. "Pressure. Internal unrest. Unresolved resonance." She tucked her forehead into my neck. "Now it's calm." I melted. Her hum vibrated gently against my collarbone, comforting, steady, almost like a lullaby. My entire torso felt wrapped in warm energy, as if her body was rediscovering peace moment by moment. For the first time since all this started, she breathed without strain. "Is this," she asked quietly, "what humans call being held?" "Yes," I whispered. "That's exactly what it is. I like it. she said simply. My chest tightened. Yeah, I whispered. Me too. Her markings glowed a soft amber at that, almost shy. But before the moment could fully settle, she shifted slightly and asked, what happens now for humans after a bond ritual kiss? I said, not prepared for an anthropological debrief. Usually people talk, or cuddle, or maybe go on a date. Date, she repeated thoughtfully. A planned outing intended to strengthen emotional connection. Basically, yeah. She lifted her head just enough to look at me. Her silver eyes were warm, curious, bordering dangerously on affectionate. I want that, she said. My eyebrows shot up. A date? Yes, she nodded with the seriousness of someone requesting diplomatic negotiations. You will take me on one? I will, huh? Her glow pulsed. Yes, you are my bondmate for this cycle. It is logical. Romantic, I teased. She blinked. Logical. I couldn't help it. I laughed. A soft, warm laugh that made her tilt her head in curiosity. You are amused? She asked, a little. Her eyes softened. Your amusement is attractive. My brain short-circuited. What? Your face changes, she said, lifting a hand to trace my cheek, her touch light and exploratory. Your eyes brighten. Your mouth curves. I find it pleasant. Oh, I said, fully malfunctioning. Thank you? She smiled faintly, barely a curve, but enough to send a ripple through her glow. Tomorrow, she said decisively. I wish to begin this date. Oh, tomorrow. Yes, the first day of our cycle must be meaningful. Her hand slid down my chest again, settling right over where my heart beat strongest. Her glow matched the rhythm like a companion shadow. But, she added softly, I want to remain close now. For the rest of the night. My breath caught. All night? If you permit. She tilted her head. My species sleeps in contact during a bond cycle. It is stabilizing, and... She hesitated, cheeks brightening. I like when you hold me. My heart did something embarrassing. I'd like that too, I whispered. Her glow softened into a warm halo. She nestled her head against my shoulder again, hummed steady and low. Good, she murmured, as if settling into something she'd wanted for far longer than she'd admit. Jacen? Yeah? Tomorrow, she whispered sleepily. We begin our first date. I stroked her hair, gently silvery strands, shifting like soft metallic silk, and whispered, I can't wait. And just when everything felt perfect quiet, warm, bonded, a faint beep sounded from my phone. I glanced at the notification. My mother. Lyra said you're dating a glowing alien? Call me immediately. Oh no. I stared at my phone screen like it had personally betrayed me. Behind me, Varys lifted her head, glow dimming in concern. Jacen, your physiology changed. Your shoulders stiffened. My mother texted, I whispered, horrified. Varys blinked. This is the one who created you. Don't say it like that. She detected your bond? She detected nothing. My sister told her. Varys's brows knit together. Your sibling lacks discretion. Welcome to being part of my family. I muttered. She leaned closer, peering at the message as if it were a strange artifact. Why is the phrase in capitals? Is she shouting? Yes, she is. Displeased? She is. Curious. Which is worse? Varys looked deeply confused. Why? Because she will ask every question in existence, and won't stop until she has exact answers. And she will come here. Varys straightened her spine, glow brightening protectively. Then I will answer her questions. No, no, absolutely not. Why? She asked, genuinely puzzled. I am your bondmate. I should convey my intentions. I choked. Please don't call yourself my bondmate in front of my mother. It is the truth, she said simply. That's the problem. She pulled back slightly, tilting her head. Are you ashamed of the bond? What? No. Not at all. I ran a hand through my hair, exhaling. It's just complicated. Humans panic when introduced to big things too quickly. Varys considered this with a seriousness usually reserved for war councils. I understand. Your species dismantles emotional overwhelm poorly. Exactly. Then I shall be gentle, she concluded, glowing warmly. She will like me. That's what I'm scared of. Before she could respond, the phone buzzed again. Mom. I'm already in my car. ETA 15 minutes. I made a sound somewhere between a groan and a death rattle. Varys blinked. She travels fast. Too fast, I muttered. We have to prepare. Prepare for what? Varys looked genuinely perplexed. For my mother, I said gravely. A force of nature. A being of pure curiosity. Stronger than any alien reflex. Varys's glow brightened in challenge. I am not afraid. You should be. She straightened proudly. I will greet her with dignity. No, greet her with normalcy. What is normalcy? Less glow. Less humming. Less possessive statements. She frowned. But I am possessive. I know. Just don't say it out loud. She thought about this long enough to make me nervous. Then, I will attempt to restrain myself, she said finally. That's all I can ask for. But as she leaned into me again, resting her glowing forehead on my shoulder in a slow, affectionate motion, she whispered, If she asks whether I am yours. Yes, I asked weakly. I will tell the truth. My pulse tripled. She smiled at the reaction, soft, warm, dangerously intimate. You are mine for this cycle, she murmured. You chose it. And you're mine, I whispered back. Because something inside me needed to say it? Her glow surged gold rushing across her skin like a blush made of light. So you do feel possession, she breathed, trembling slightly. I suspected. Varys, I warned weakly. She kissed my cheek, just a soft, glowing brush. I will behave. Then the buzzer rang again. We both tensed. Varys grabbed my hand. Is this your mother? She whispered, eyes widening in alarm and excitement. No, pizza delivery, I muttered. But in 15 minutes? Yes, my mother. Varys squared her shoulders, markings shifting into neat symmetrical lines, a sign of formal presentation. She'd once told me. Jacen, she said solemnly. I am prepared? I was absolutely not. 15 minutes had never passed so fast in the entire history of time. Varys paced the living room, like a celestial lioness preparing for a diplomatic summit. Her glow shifted between purposeful teal and nervous gold, and every time she straightened a pillow or adjusted a lamp, she radiated this intense cosmic determination that made my stomach tighten. Does your mother prefer structured greetings? She asked seriously. Or spontaneous emotional declarations? Neither, I said immediately. Do not declare anything spontaneously. She paused mid-stride. But I must establish my intentions. No, I said, grabbing her shoulders. You must establish that you are calm, polite, maybe even a little shy. I am never shy, she said. Insulted. Well, consider trying it on for tonight. Her glow flickered, flustered, uncertain, adorable. I will attempt. Mildness. That's perfect, I said. Be mild. She nodded, trying to physically embody mildness by standing with her hands folded politely. Unfortunately, her glowing markings made her look like a politely waiting cosmic goddess about to deliver prophecy. I sighed. Close enough. Then BZZT. Knock dash, knock dash, knock dot. We both froze. Varys grabbed my wrist. She has arrived. It's okay, I whispered. It is not okay, she whispered back. My glow is irregular. You look beautiful, I said without thinking. Her glow spiked gold. Jacen, she breathed. Do not say such things before I must face your progenitor. No more calling her that. I opened the door, and there she was, my mother, carrying a casserole dish, a coat draped over one arm, and wearing the expression of a woman who'd already written 3 theories in her head before stepping onto the doormat. Jacen, she said, where is the glowing alien girlfriend I've been hearing about? I slammed my eyes shut. Lyra, she brushed past me like a missile. I brought food. I assume she eats? Does she eat? Does she glow when hungry? I need so many answers. Mom, please just slow down. She stepped into the living room and froze. Varys stood there tall, luminous, composed in the way diplomats are composed when facing unpredictable planetary forces. Her markings brightened in a respectful pattern. She bowed her head slightly. Greetings, she said smoothly. I am Varys of the house, my mother gasped softly. Her hand flew to her chest. You're beautiful. Varys blinked and looked at me as if to confirm this was praise. I nodded. She brightened literally. Thank you, she said gracefully. I have been told I glow excessively. Oh no, sweetheart, my mother said warmly, stepping forward and cupping Varys's hands without hesitation. It's lovely. And you speak English? Marvelous. And look at those markings. Are they biological? Bioluminescent? Responsive? Varys's eyes widened in surprise at the physical contact. Yes, they are. Sensitive indicators. Oh, I love indicators, my mother said, as though this were the most normal conversation on earth. I dragged a hand down my face. Mom, please. Personal space. Don't be ridiculous, she said, dismissing me entirely. I raised you with hugs. I assume she likes hugs too. Varys turned to me in a small panic. Jacen, what do I do? Your mother has established immediate physical rapport. She hugged you, I clarified. That is rapport? For her. Yes, my mother beamed. Oh, she's adorable. And tall. And polite. And glowy. She then turned sharp eyes on me. You didn't tell me she was this lovely. I didn't get the chance. I protested. Mom ignored me completely. So Varys, dear, are you too? Dating? Bonding? Resonating? She wiggled her eyebrows. Varys's glow flared gold. Yes, he has chosen me. Mom, no. Oh my goodness. She squealed. My son has an alien girlfriend. And a glowing one. I'm calling your grandmother. I nearly died, but Varys slipped her hand into mine firm, warm, certain. It is true, she said gently. He is mine for this cycle. My mother teared up. Oh, sweetheart, she whispered. Welcome to the family. I was done for. If someone had told me yesterday morning that my mother would be thrilled, not alarmed, not overwhelmed, not calling the government thrilled that I'd bonded with a glowing extraterrestrial woman, I would have assumed they were drunk, delirious, or both. But no. She was glowing with more enthusiasm than Varys was glowing with actual photons. Oh, you have no idea how happy I am. Mom gushed. Wiping at tears, she absolutely exaggerated for dramatic effect. My son, finally dating someone who isn't a houseplant. I sputtered. It was one succulent. And it died. Yes, she said pointedly. Because you forgot to water it. Which is why companionship is important, Jacen. Mom, I groaned. Varys squeezed my hand, glancing between us with wide, silver-eyed curiosity. Your mother appears emotionally expansive. That's one way to say it. I muttered. Mom clasped her hands together. So, I brought food, although I have no idea if she can eat lasagna. What is lasagna? Varys asked, tilting her head. A miraculous baked entity, my mother declared. Cheese, layers, love, a spiritual experience. Varys blinked, then looked at me. Your mother speaks in riddles, I whispered. It's just food. She nodded solemnly. I will learn. Before she could ask any follow-up questions about human culinary rituals, my mother turned a full beam of attention onto her. So, Varys, sweetie, tell me everything about your culture. What's bonding? What's a cycle? Are there rings? Ceremonies? Gifts? Is my son treating you well? Does he need to clean more? He does, doesn't he? Varys, who had survived cosmic storms, interstellar travel, and the complexities of alien biology, looked genuinely overwhelmed for the first time tonight. Jacen, she whispered urgently, your mother is powerful. That's what I've been trying to tell you my whole life, I said. Mom blinked innocently. Oh, am I being overwhelming? I'm sorry. I'm just excited. I've always wanted grandchildren. Nitrogen monoxide, I yelped. Varys's glow flared bright gold. Grandchildren? What is required for producing them? Is this a human demand? Mom. I squeaked. Mom waved off the panic. I'm just saying. It's a lovely thought. Varys touched her own glowing markings, as if checking for signs of biological readiness. My species has very specific steps for replication. Stop, I begged. But if this is expected of a bond cycle, we must review the guidelines. Mom, please leave before she starts a PowerPoint. My mother grinned, completely unrepentant. You're so easy to tease. Varys frowned slightly. Tease? Meaning to cause minor distress for humorous bonding? Exactly, Mom said proudly. Varys brightened. I like this, mother. Mom squealed again. I was doomed. Okay, I said loudly, clapping my hands. Mom, thank you for the lasagna. Thank you for the panic attack, but it's time to maybe give us space to process our brand new, extremely recent cosmic bond. Mom raised an eyebrow. Are you kicking me out? Yes, I said. No, Varys said at the same time. We looked at each other. You want her to stay? I whispered. She is fascinating, Varys confessed. And she understands teasing. And she approves of me. Approval from parental figures strengthens bond validity. Bond validity, my mother repeated, smiling like she'd just been crowned queen. I adore her. Mom, I warned. I'll only stay 10 minutes, she promised. A lie. A bold-faced maternal lie. She put the casserole down, plopped onto the couch, and patted the cushions beside her. Come sit, she said to Varys. Tell me everything about how you and my son met. Varys lit up like her own personal sunrise. She sat. I watched in horror as my alien bondmate began explaining, with sincere enthusiasm, the concept of accidental lapsiding leading to reflexive resonance. No, don't tell her that. I yelped, lunging forward too late. Mom gasped dramatically. You sat in his lap? Varys said proudly. Yes, it was scientifically appropriate. Oh, honey, Mom whispered, clutching her chest. You two are perfect for each other. I sank into a chair. This was my life now.